Welcome to the Grampians Wine Podcast. I'm your host, Neil Butler. In each episode of the podcast, we speak to a representative of the Grampians winemakers or one of the wineries in the region. We'll learn about the wines, the wineries, and of course, the personalities associated with one of Victoria's leading wine regions. On today's episode, we speak to Nancy Panter, the co-founder at SubRosa Wine, located in Eversley. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you for having me, Neil.
Great to have you here. Well, let's start off by you telling us a little bit about your winery, where Eversley is for starters, and the varieties that you produce there.
Thanks. Yeah, well, we're a very small winery. We only produce 400 cases of wine a year. We make wine from the Grampians and the Pyrenees, and our varieties that we produce, Viognier, which is a beautiful textural white wine, Nebbiolo, which is the king of grapes of Italy, and of course, beautiful Shiraz. We also have produced one vintage of Cabernet, which we hope to do more of. And because I asked the winemaker, we have a very small amount of Nebbiolo Rosé as well.
Excellent. So we spoke just before we started recording about the winemaker, someone who's quite well known to you. You've only been going a little while, but he's had vast experience.
Yeah, my partner and the co-founder, Adam Lauder, he is born and bred here in the Grampians. He was actually born at grew up at the base of Mount Langi-Duran, and so he knows this part of the world really, really well. He started making wine at the age of 15 during his school holidays at Best's in Great Western. He also did some work at Montara before going to Mount Langi-Duran at the age of 19 and working with the legendary Trevor Mast. He then travelled to Margaret River, Bordeaux and Napa Valley before we met, and decided to come back to the Grampians wine region and work so Adam could work with the grapes that he loves. So Adam Lauder is his name, and he is 40 years old and has done 35 vintages around the world. So a very busy man.
So in case you're slipping your shoes and socks off, folks, that doesn't mean he started when he was 5. There has been a couple of vintages per year along the way there, lest you be concerned. So I guess one of the things that we've talked a lot about in other episodes is what makes the Grampians wine region a great place to grow grapes and make wine. You might have some thoughts on that. But I guess the question that comes that's a little bit different with the situation you find yourself in, with Adam having traveled to various parts of the world, is there something about the way he can utilize those grapes and the climate that's around you where you are to make something a little bit different?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, the reason Adam has 35 vintages under his belt is because he has done 2 vintages a year. So between Margaret River and Bordeaux, and then between Grampians and the Napa Valley. So during those vintages, he gets twice as much experience as, or 2 vintages to learn about how to work with grapes that are grown in different climates, with different rainfall, in different terroir. So he has an extraordinary amount of experience. And one of the lessons he has spoken to me about was when he, in Bordeaux, it rains quite a lot, and particularly during vintage. So there's a lot of, there are many challenges that come with rain during vintage. And he has then been able to transfer those skills in other places he's made wine, to share that knowledge and understanding of how you can make wine during those challenging times. But the Grampians, why the Grampians? Well, Adam just absolutely loves the grapes, particularly Shiraz. We have this beautiful climate where it's warm in the day and cool at night, and that leads to complexity in the grapes. So the grapes take a long time to ripen, and during that ripening time, there's just different layers of complexity that Adam works with those grapes to bring that complexity into the bottle.
And a number of the guests we've had on the podcast so far have been born and bred, as Adam was, in the region. You're a relative newcomer to the region. What is it about the Grampians that you love as not only a wine region, but just as a great place to visit?
The Grampians is absolutely beautiful. I mean, to start with, there's a lot of amazing people out here. There's a lot that you can learn from the people of the wine industry here in the Grampians, because they truly are very passionate about what they do and why they're here. There's, the nature that you are surrounded by here in the Grampians is just so beautiful. Often on our drive from home into town, where there are eagles, beautiful, not just one, like I'm talking 4, 5, 6 eagles. We have cockatoos, which are not so great around vintage time when the grapes are growing, but there's plenty of other bird life around as well. Plenty of wallabies and kangaroos and echidnas. And of course, when the wattle is out, it's really spectacular. Plenty of green and gold everywhere that you look. So it's just a very spectacular place to live, to visit, and to grow grapes.
All right, so let's put our future glasses on and look 5 years forward to what the winery might look like at that point. Have you got some dreams and some plans for what this might look like in 5 years?
We sure do. We are in the process of planting our own vineyard. We're very excited about. We work with grapes from other vineyards right now, and we'll always continue to do that. But we're really looking forward to planting our own vineyard, and we will be planting Shiraz. Adam really just loves working with Shiraz and loves making beautiful Shiraz that has a nice pepper and spice, medium-bodied the Shiraz that's got a lot of complexity to it. So we really look forward to growing the grapes ourselves. And one day we'll have a cellar door, not quite yet, but one day. At the moment, all of our wines available online at our website, which is subrosawine.com. For the time being, the focus is growing the grapes or getting them planted as a starting point. Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll come back and revisit those contact details shortly, because we'll do that towards the end so people can find a pencil and write it down if they need to do so. So focusing now on Nancy herself, because we like to also find out a bit about the people behind the brands. How long did you say you lived and worked in the Grampians wine region yourself?
Adam and I, our first vintage was 2013, but we didn't move back here really till 2014. And I say back here, that's from America. So I am a Gold Coast girl, born and bred on the beaches of the Gold Coast. And I love going up to the Gold Coast to share our wine with Gold Coasters. We've got some great locations that have our wine up there. And I travelled the world, studied journalism, travelled the world, and ended up in sunny California working in San Francisco. And then I met Adam. So Adam and I met in Napa Valley and decided we'd come back to Australia, and we came back here to form a winery and to start a family. So we have 2 small children, Toby and Charlie. We have a beautiful dog, Lucy, who's a German short-haired pointer, who has to run. And we have a cat, Stitchy.
Wow. So you're about to get in the car and you're going to drive towards the Gold Coast for the purpose of the exercise, and you can take 1 case of wine with you from your SubRosa wine collection. What goes in the boot of the car?
Grampian Shiraz for sure. That's an easy one. It is actually great for Gold Coast weather too, because it's got so much complexity to it, yet it is so versatile, and it's that medium weight where it suits a winter's night when you're by the fire here in the Grampians, or it can suit a lunch on the Gold Coast when you're having a great bite to eat at one of those fabulous restaurants.
Right, so let's think about that food. What's your favourite meal to have with a bottle of that Shiraz?
Oh, there's so many. We love to have roast lamb with our Shiraz, or on the Gold Coast, we visited one of our Asian restaurants, Masan, and they serve a beautiful beef Asian dish, which is just really, really slow cooked and just breaks apart, served with some Asian greens and rice. That's another one of our favourites as well.
Okay, so let's work on the fact that we're not in the restaurant. So you've got the meal and you've got the wine. Where's your favourite place to have that meal and have that wine?
Oh, probably here at home in the Grampians, either a roast or just a barbie with friends, sitting out on the deck and enjoying wine as the night progressed, opening a couple more bottles of something else.
Okay. Favorite music to have playing while you're having that meal at home on the deck?
Oh, well, see, this is controversial because Adam and I have very different tastes.
Well, you're the one that
music.
turned up for the conversation, so you get to choose.
I'm a big fan of music like Jack Johnson, where I can just chill out and relax and enjoy some pretty chill tunes. Adam prefers something different, so that's often a hot topic in this house.
And if you were having that meal, 3 people, living or dead, that you'd want to have to share that meal and that wine with you?
Oh, wow. You know what? I'm just going to be pretty simple here and just say, particularly during these COVID times, I just want to be with my family. My family is spread all throughout the world. So if I could have anyone right now, it would be, my family.
Absolutely. Well, before we finish up, can you just remind us where people, you don't have a cellar door, so people won't be able to come and find you at the moment, but your website and your social media and where people can buy the wine?
Certainly. Well, you can reach us at subrosawine.com online, and our Instagram and Facebook and Twitter handles are all the same, SubRosa Wine. And then in the Grampians, if you do come to this beautiful part of the world, head on out to Halls Gap and go to Grampians Wine Cellar, a great little bottle shop that has our wine and wines from most of the other Grampians wineries.
Okay. Well, Nancy Panter, thank you so much for being on the Grampians Wine Podcast today.
Thanks so much, Neil.
This has been another episode of the Grampians Wine Podcast featuring Nancy Panter from SubRosa Wines. You can subscribe to the podcast by visiting grampianswinepodcast.com.au. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but it will give you the chance to listen to previous episodes and to be reminded whenever we publish another episode. You can watch video versions of the podcast by subscribing to the Grampians Wine YouTube channel. We'll be back soon with another episode. My name is Neil Butler. I look forward to your company then.